to attempt to get the PTO shaft seal out. Not sure how to pull the seal out of that. That's just a cover that comes off, and there's a rubber cell that looks like it's pressed into that case. All right, we'll take that cover off. It's two 12mm bolts that go in there, and then let's see if I'm able to get that seal out. You can see it's leaking pretty good just sitting here. Well, that was a pain. You can see that sucker rounded off immediately. So I have to get another one of those before I put that back together. Okay, the little cover's off. So what I'm going to attempt to do is to drill 2, maybe 3 holes into that, insert a screw as far as I can, and then put a puller on that screw, see if I can pull that out. Okay, here's all the stuff that I got. I've got some screws. Here's the bearing. That's what it looks like. Let's see which one works best. As you can see, as soon as I screwed it in, it caught, it bit, it pulled it right out. It is leaking like crazy, so I need it. As soon as I started drilling into that, man, that thing caught, and it went in there and bottomed out, and it just sucked this seal right out of there. So if you ever attempt to do this, be very careful when you're drilling in, because there is an actual ball bearing right under that. All right, I got the new seal on there. One thing I'm not really sure about is this little steel collar that was on the new one. The old one, as you can see it right there, was on the PTO shaft and would not come off. So dried it all off. It does look a little wet right there. Let's see, let's hope it works. Doing this, I noticed that these are just deteriorating and falling apart. These little rubber cap inserts. Need to get new ones of those. So far, so good. It looks dry, but that doesn't mean anything. When I pulled that out, a lot of hydraulic fluid came out. So I'm gonna check the level right there and fill it back up right there, and then see what we got. This hopefully will not be a mess waiting to happen. We did not have any 2-gallon containers of hydraulic fluid. The only thing they had is 5-gallon, and 5 gallons is a little too much to handle just filling stuff, so I'm going to put 2 gallons into this and then store the rest. All right, I got that back on. Still got the one bolt I need to replace because it's stripped. But so far it's dry. I'm gonna back it back in, put a drain pan underneath it, and see if it leaks. When I come back next week, we'll see if it's dry. All right, got the drain pan all wiped out and clean. So I will set that underneath there and we'll see if it's still leaking. Hopefully not. Got the tractor back inside. That's where it always stays. Covered up inside. Boy, that just did fit. I have to turn the bucket in to get it to fit with the shredder on. It is very close, but it's inside, which is good. Got that greased. It took a massive amount of grease to fill that up, and it seems to be cutting just fine. Not squealing anymore. When I engage the blade, that thing works fantastic. I have used it almost every time I come out here. And it took a massive amount of grease. There's a grease fitting on that bearing under there. And it took a massive amount of grease in there. So we'll see if it keeps working just fine. But it cranks and runs fantastic. And I have used it a lot. In fact, as I was testing it out, I shredded all around this. Knock that down. Hopefully we can get that. You can see where I shredded around the pallet forks and the disc. All right in there. I also kept going and shredded around that old water well that we found. This was something that was all covered up in brush and we had no idea it was here. And under that is an old well and an old cement trough. And then right over here, they dug a small little shallow pond. I guess they were running water into that. So hopefully one day we can get that on a solar pump. That would be very helpful. It was really strange. We had no idea it was here, and they were pushing and clearing this area, and they just happened to stop right there. And then I saw it, actually saw it from the other side. I saw what looked to be, I thought it was an old railroad track bed because it was perfectly flat and long. And I was actually over there. And what it was the dam to that shallow little pond that they had dug out. And I walked through the cactus and found it, and then noticed that it was just right on the other side of that berm, and we cleared out around it. This is a little shallow tank that they dug. You can see that metal pipe running there. Yeah, I took the end of my finger off. But I guess they filled that up from that. Saw no signs of electricity or what type of pump that was in there. May have been a windmill. Who knows how old it is. Not that old because there's cement around the bottom of it. Hydraulic fluid's just barely touching the dipstick, so fill this back up to the right level. I'm not really sure if you're supposed to check this running or not, so I'm going to do both. Hope it doesn't take more than 5 gallons. This would be a little too high to pick up a 5-gallon jug. I really wouldn't call it a jug. 5-gallon container of hydraulic fluid. Hold it up here. That's why I transferred 2 gallons of it into this. There was no 2-gallon containers of hydraulic fluid at Tractor Supply in Pleasanton, Texas. Plenty of the 5-gallon. No 2-gallon. Okay, it's starting to rise. Still need some more. Like I said, I'm not sure if you're supposed to check the fluid level running or off. I'm going to get it to the full mark off, then fire it up, and check it again. As long as it doesn't take more than 5 gallons, I should be good. That was pretty much all of that. Give it just a little bit to pour in there. All right, with this running, it seems to be just a little bit above the full mark there. I'm going to connect the drive shaft back up, go shred a little bit, come back and let it sit, see if it still leaks. did some shredding, so PTO got to spinning the bearing quite a lot. Looks kind of dry. I'm gonna wipe it off real good. I don't know, I may just leave it like it is, that way if anything does drip, the dust can see it. But so far it's not leaking. Now I'm gonna try to tighten up these hydraulic lines. Not really sure where that is, but this frame rail right here is really nasty looking. So I'm gonna try to tighten these up. See if I can stop that leak. None of those move. They seem to all be very tight. So I'm not really sure where that leak's coming from. The seal seems to have worked. It seems dry. Maybe that is mission accomplished.